We're throwing chairs this week at Vendetta, Curse of the Raven's Cry, because they're actually two completely different games. Why you would be confused? Because you're an idiot, that's why. This is from the Octane Games / Reality Pump on the Grace 2 engine. You can pick it up for in and around $60, AAA title sort of pricing. What is it? Vendetta, Curse of the Raven's Cry is a third-person open-world action RPG that combines fast-paced swordplay, right, with thrilling naval battles and exploration. Not really. Assume the role of the Dread Pirate Roberts, Christopher Raven, and take your revenge on, spoiler alert, we're not going to mention it, but it's going to be in the show notes if you're interested. Now, these guys actually did send us keys, mandatory US disclosure and whatnot. So with that all out of the way, let's get into the chairquisition. 1 chair means that it's garbage, 2 chairs means that it's meh, 3 chairs means that it's pretty good, and 4 chairs means that it's awesome sauce. You're not going to be seeing that in this review at all. We also have our categories to do, mixed with the working shiny sounds, controls, and fun. If this is your first barbecue, then that is a much longer intro than we're normally used to. So let's kick this off. Venn, on your awesome sauce boxness, did Raven's Cry make it with the working?
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Over here in Vinland, well, I'm going to get right into this. This update is an admission that they were knowingly selling a busted product, Brad. There's just really no way around that. And the spite crashes. You better get used to that business because they're going to happen, and they're going to happen randomly. But if you want to play this, you're going to have to manually upgrade libstdc via PPA on the Ubuntu 1404 LTS because, fuck Steam runtime. That's just nasty business. And if you have a multi-monitor setup with Steam overlay enabled, and you happen to press, Shift Tab, maybe to check one of your other monitors and all that, well, the game's going to lock input, and you better hope you can get to TTY and nope it. Here's the die as far as performance. The critter plays about as well as Skyrim did in 2010 under wine. Almost. You get about 30 to 40 FERPs in closed areas, 4 to 20 FERPs, YOLO swag, yeah, I know what I did there, in the towns, and that's at 1080 at 2160, aka Ultra HD, expected constant 12 to 14. Now, one of the developers said he was getting 35 FERPs constant at 4K with a 780. And normally saying something like this to a reviewer, it's kind of safe, guys. It is. Because who has a 60 hertz 4K display laying around with a video card that was last produced in 2013? Turns out that's Mike Tehan, and he's going to be here in this review to give you the business on that. And what can only be described as a serious misapplication of judgment, they took the Pepsi challenge and sent us that key for the Tehan.
Fools.
I know, right? Now, if you're watching the produced version of the show, you'll see behind us, the game is struggling to hit 20 FERPs, period. And if you claim the game runs better, that burden of proof, Brad, is on you. Press F12, send us a screenshot, prove us wrong. But since it technically can launch with a little bit of ass-hattery, I'm going to give it 2 chairs.
Yeah, so on Fedora 2264-bit, the thing runs sort of... I found it's actually a little hit or miss, because when you hit play in Steam, sometimes it'll say, launching Vendetta, Curse of Raven's Cry, and then do nothing. You close that, launch it again, nothing. Third time's the charm, though, and it pops up. Yeah, this thing does the fuck with your desktop resolution nonsense that a lot of bad games do, where if you change the resolution in-game, it will actually change your desktop resolution, which is fun if you got hit with that Steam overlay bug like I did, and you have to drop to TTY, and all of a sudden your windows are completely mashed up and overblown because it was in 4K once upon a time, but no longer. Yeah, that alt-tab issue is a real pain in the ass, especially for this kind of game. We'll get into this a little bit more, where it's not exactly clear where you need to go half the time, so you may need to go consult some map or a walkthrough or something. So I'm gonna give this 2 chairs, because this is bad.
And just to clarify a little thing that Venn said, yes, we know that Skyrim only came out in 2011, not 2010, so before you finish typing that furious YouTube comment that you're starting right now, hold off, okay? All right. So, back to this game. It has a fucking memory leak. I was playing it after like 3 or 4 hours continuous play. My box just noped. It was just frozen. No keyboard input, no TTYs for anybody, just nothing. All right. Time to hit the reset button and see what the hell was going on. Demaz, nothing major. All right, so let's start HTOP, start the game again, see what happens. After about an hour, the game was already consuming 5 gigs of RAM. I'm like, oh, that's what. And
so that's some Chrome level shit, isn't it?
Yeah, as if what Venn and Jordan already described wasn't bad enough. You have the fucking memory leak on top of that. I can't give it 1 chair because it technically launches and it stumbles and fumbles its way into a semi-playable mess. So I'm gonna give it 2 chairs begrudgingly.
Yeah, all I have to say is that installing a basic system library testing PPA to get a game to run on an LTS platform is completely unacceptable. I have no idea why they targeted Ubuntu 15.10 instead of 14.04. It makes
or SteamOS.
Or SteamOS.
Yeah.
It makes less than no sense. It's straight up crazy that if it requires Venn magic to get it to run, you are doing something wrong. And I literally was about to say I give up when he sent me the directions to get this thing going. And on top of that, you've got random crashes that grab all of your keyboard input. I literally had to SSH into my computer and kill all this thing from my SSH client on my cell phone after it randomly locked up when I went into the map screen. Changing resolution induced crazy color palettes. 1 chair.
Yeah, so that's 1 chair for mix with the working. That's not a good sign, Brad. Up next to Shining Sounds, Venn.
Well, it is quite the cinematic experience because, according to the developer, the human eye can only see 24 frames per second. That's a real quote. The Linux build lacks the Vaseline filter that has been used for the screenshots on the store page. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. And that said, I mean, it's genuinely a nice-looking game, albeit a bit dark. And when I say dark, we're actually talking light. And that's kind of an issue because this game will blind your eye pussies every time you enter or exit an enclosed area. Just white flash screen of fuck you, that's why. And you're like, I mean, when my natural reflex is currently to close my eyes, then hit space to exit, maybe something's wrong. And, you know, that is definitely an issue when your overall color scheme is based on, you know, just dark. Lip sync, let's talk about the sounds. Not happening. I mean, I think maybe once or twice they kind of got close to syncing up, but, you know, you just see A-lib underrun. I mean, if you're just looking at the output of it, that's a thing. But, you know, speaking of the audio, the first guy you meet in that pub genuinely sounds like he is recording on a headset mic, you know, like a Logitech, like, rah, 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 phoning in. You know, I'm surprised he didn't say a disparaging remark about my mother. I mean, it was one of those things. And other voices, they definitely suffer from room noise during their recordings that haven't been cleaned up. Then there was this one point when, you know, Raven, he just got hella angry at one of the fuckers who noped his mom. Spoilers, and, you know, even though it's told, like, right at the beginning of the game. And he starts screaming. And that was either recorded by a different person or recorded using a mobile phone. It was laughably bad. I was clapping, just, wow, all right, that made it in. Good form. It's not fugly, though. I mean, the texture quality on the game is really nice. It's 80
On the characters.
All right.
On the characters.
80% of the texture quality is really nice. I mean, if you go exploring, you'll see diminishing returns with a quickness. Ambient sound, it's all right. In towns, it's annoying because it's the same 5 voices on loop, and it's like, shut up, I won't give you blam money, and that's definitely a thing. But for the shinies and sounds, I'm going to give it 2 chairs. I mean, it's not busted, but it could definitely use some work.
Yeah, I've had smoother transitions going from indoors to outdoors on acid trips. This is a bit more intense. And like Venn said, the dark color palette is not doing this game any favors, especially when, like, the highlighted areas in the background that you can interact with are just kind of like a little shimmer in the background. You're not going to see them on a cursory glance. You got to actually look at it and you go, oh, that's what that is. The lip sync, yeah, it's all wah, 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 wah. I've literally seen better lip sync on the Muppet Show. It's pretty bad. And I mean, the voice acting is all right. I found myself singing pirate shanties for a good 5 minutes like an idiot because I love the Wild Rover. But Yeah, I thought the guy voicing Raven was Kevin Conroy because it sort of sounds like him, but I'm glad he went nowhere near this game. The models, like Venn said, they look pretty good. Yeah, once you start going out there, they're a little sketchy, a little bad, and there's the killer anteaters. I'm not sure if they are anteaters, but they sure as hell look like them. Altogether, it's all right. I'm being a little generous in giving it 3 chairs just because I don't want to entirely shit on this game for some of the stuff it did do right. But it's like really 2.6 chairs, but I'll give it 3 because I'm a nice guy.
He says that. That's just because he's Canadian. But yeah, everything's a bit too gray in this game. I did notice that the transition like between different times of day is about as smooth as getting hit with a 2x4 in the side of your head. It was very obvious because it was like dawn and everything had a grayish blue tint to it. And then as the sun supposedly came up, it went immediately from that bluish gray tint to a orange gray tint. It was jarring, really. I also I'm not going to complain about the background music. It fits the setting that they were going for, and if this was a better game, I would be drooling all over the background music. It's actually decent. But I will complain about the annoying quips and grunts that Mr. Christopher Raven keeps spewing out of his mouth hole. Speaking of which, Van already mentioned this, there's plenty of echoey and muffled voice acting going on with several of the NPCs. I mean, Torado, the guy that you do the intro mission for, he really does sound like he phoned it in. It's really, really bad. Also, and this may sound rather unbelievable, Linux Gamecast has a better sound production as a result of said voice acting than this game. That right there dings it a chair, doesn't it? But yeah, also, what the hell is going on with people's faces? Jordan already kind of hinted at it. They just go mwop, 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 mwop when they're delivering their lines. Kind of like me when I've had too much to drink. So 2 chairs.
Well, the intro video sets the tone perfectly by including both pre-rendered 3D animation, pre-rendered 2D animation, and what looks to be recorded in-game, like from the engine footage, which just, totally sets the tone for how uneven things are going to be.
5 gigs worth.
Yeah. If you look at a screenshot of this game, you might think that this is a 3-chair, shiny kind of game. And then you see it in its herky-jerky motion, and all hope fades. The Raven, the namesake of the game, is terribly animated. The character models, on the other hand, are actually pretty good. It's fairly obvious that a certain amount of care and detail went into making the player character and all the NPCs. But the dialogue I was not so impressed by. I thought there were a lot of like awkward pauses and inconsistent recording quality and people talking over each other, and just I wasn't blown away by it at all. You switch over to the graphics, frame rates are just all over the place. If you're in a small contained area, you might hit 30, 40 frames per second, but at 1080p and at UHD 4K resolutions running around in town, I was pulling a consistent 16 frames per second. It didn't matter whether I was drawing 4 times more pixels or just normal 1080p, 15 frames per second. That says something is wrong with your game engine. Very, very, very wrong. So I'm going to give this 2 chairs.
Oh yeah, this game is chugtastic, and MT actually did test it on the graphics card that the developer did recommend.
Yep.
So that will tell you something. So that's 2 chairs for Shiny and Sounds. Up next is Control, Venn.
Okay, let's get to this. I'm not joking. The first conversation I had with MT, and I was like, oh, this is how you get it to work. What am I talking about? Let me explain. You have to unplug your controller in order for this thing to use your keyboard and gerbil. Period. I know. Why is this a problem? I hear you. Well, out of the 345 games I own on Linux, with the Steams, this is the only one that locks out the fucking keyboard if the controller is plugged in, Brad. Yeah, no one ever is accustomed to unplugging a peripheral to play a fuck-mothering game. Seriously. The only solution, if you fuck up like I do, I was like, I was playing some other games. I forgot I had the gamepad plugged in. I was like, oh shit. Then I unplugged it, like a little bit too late, and if you do that, you're just screwed, son, because then you can't plug it back in, it will not redetect it, and you're locked out with your keyboard and gerbil. And if you remember when we were talking about how it works, if you try to shift tab, which you can't do because all input is completely locked out, even if you could, it would freeze up and lock everything, so you can SSH into your box, or sometimes you get lucky, control F1 drop into TTY, and nope it. That said, this is not a bug, according to the developers. It's a feature. And, well, let's say you want to play it with your controller. I have the Xclone controller, and the game's clearly designed for this, and it seems like I have some delusional hopes of ever getting this on PS4, and it'll never pass QA. And the Xclone controller is almost properly mapped. I mean, fuck all if you can ever enter stealth mode, at least on my end. I could never get that to work. And, well, here's kind of the thing. I started playing with the controller because it worked. It did. And I picked it up and I was like, oh, then I got to, I was like, well, you need to crouch and stealth and all that. And it didn't work. And I was like, shit, okay. Restart the game. By restart the game, you save it, will not unplug the controller, restart. Then you have your keyboard and gerbil. All the advanced movements that you learned with your Xclone controller, when you go to the movement section in the game menu, it just shows you your basic up, down, left, right movement, and none of the how to fire, how to parry, how to lock onto targets. You just have to reverse engineer that BS yourself. I'm sorry. F that noise. One chair.
Yeah. So I had some issues because I had the Steam controller plugged in when I tried to run this game, and I expected, because it shows, the Steam controller on the big picture mode page, that it would work, but I was wrong. I had some wonderful issues where if you unplug the dongle in the middle of the game, like it if in the sailing part of the tutorial, you'll just pick a direction and sail off into the mighty ocean for years and years and years and years and years. And then you gotta control F1, kill all that shit. It is completely unplayable on keyboard mouse. That is, if you try to sword fight using that, you will get killed to death. My story from earlier in the show, I actually went out and repurchased a functional Xbox 360 controller, and the game is actually surprisingly playable with it. The first thing I actually did check is I hit L3, and I was able to crouch and go to stealth mode. So that did work for me. I guess this is just a problem with Venn's Xclone controller. A lot of my complaints regarding the controls for this game come from the bizarre ass keyboard and mouse mappings where you have to like hold down control and hit 1 to bring up a gun, because the controls are actually console or controller oriented. They just don't like you trying to switch back and forth between console and keyboard, which you kind of have to do if you want to effectively be able to use the ship, because you cannot sail at all with the controller, period. You will just go in circles and get killed because you cannot direct that fucker. It is just not happening. And of course, like Venn said, when you have the controller in, a bunch of magical prompts appear and actually let you interact with the game in ways that weren't immediately apparent if you were using keyboard and mouse. So, I mean, after my revelation with the Xbox controller, it was actually surprisingly playable. But yeah, if you're on keyboard and mouse, it's not happening. 2 cheers.
Yeah, at least it lets you rebind controls. For me, being a left-handed gamer, as it were, I like when games let you rebind controls, mostly because they always default to WASD, and I can't for the life of me use WASD. So it gets a bonus chair for that, not that it's going to save it, but yeah. I often complain about how mouse sensitivity is way too damn high on games. This one, I have to complain about the exact opposite. It's far too slow. Even if you put it all the way up to 10, which is as high as it'll go in-game, it's still way too freaking slow. And the combat is bad. It's really, really bad. It feels like when you're doing the sword fighting, it feels like you're waving a feather duster at the enemies until they fall over. And half the time you get no feedback. no feedback that you're getting hit. And more often than not, you'll die without even noticing it. Parrying is almost impossible because the combat animations are so limited, you can actually tell the difference if the enemy is attacking or just taking a step closer, in order to get closer to your character. Both look exactly the same. And since Mr. Fancy Pants protagonist doesn't know how to hold the block, you have to time it right. And if you time it incorrectly, you're going to get a chunk of your HP dinged right then and there. Repeatedly. 2 chairs.
Well, I started out trying to play this on the keyboard and mouse, and I required advisement from Venn that my controller was blocking my input. After unplugging the controller, I, did my due diligence, and I swear the game is missing prompts that give you keyboard control elements. There were some parts where I got to stuff, and I just did not know how to activate it. So eventually I gave up and I plugged the Xbox 360 controller into the Steam Link because obviously the Steam controller does not work at all in any way, shape, or form. And sat back in a chair and actually played it on my TV over the Steam Link. And because the frame rates are so terrible, you couldn't even notice the difference over the Steam Link. And it was actually not that bad. If you are going to play this game, and I am not in any way insinuating that you should, play it on a controller because that's what it was designed for. 2 chairs.
Actually, one thing that I just remembered, Venn mentioned that they're trying to get this on the PlayStation 4. Yeah, good luck when this thing doesn't fucking work at all, period. No, it doesn't even get detected. Yeah, so that's 1 chair for the controls. And finally, we have our fun segment. You're going to be surprised by the rating that this thing finally gets. So, Venn, let's kick off.
Lads, we have proper bad games on Linux, right? No. In fact,
Legends of Aetherius comes to mind.
Man, I was just saying, and in fact, we even have a few from Camp Completely Busted. This, however, is our first big budget train wreck. You see, it's not often. I mean, that we get something like this with so much money thrown behind it that is just failure on all fucking possible levels. And it's irritating, but I'll put that in at the end because, well, let's talk about what's fun and what's not. I do enjoy the quickest way of getting things done is going Indiana Jones on everyone. Blam! You just pull out the gun and you're done with it because, seriously, the AI in this game is rock stupid. I'm not joking. What you do if you have to face more than one opponent, because you're probably going to get noped to death, is find a rock, find a barrel, find a ledge, jump on top of it. They can't sword it, and you just sit there with your guns and pick them off one by one. However, I've put 11 ons into this business, and currently, I started out saying I had 2 genuinely busted side quests. One time, the guy was at a wedding, he's dead, and his body's disappeared, but he's still showing up as a marker on the map. Small bug. Another one, I'm supposed to go to a ship in the actual dock. Ship's not there. There's no marker, nothing like that. And I actually thought I had a third one, but it turned out the game was just so obtuse at trying to explain what I needed to do, and I was like, oh, right. So I'm going to do that. Now, on one of the chapter quests, it really tried to nope on me. I mean, but fortunately, after 11 hours of this game, I've learned the skill of save all the damn time, so I was able to unglitch it, and I gotta say, after 11 hours, I'm fucking out, son, because currently I'm stuck on an island that every time I try to leave, I get jumped by 2 galleons and a schooner. And I currently have a maxed out level 2 schooner, but fucking all, if I can take on that lot. And I don't know, maybe this is the game's way of trying to force me to buy that busted ass galleon in Bridgeport, and if it is, this game can eat a bag of floppy dicks.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. L.G.C cares. I want this to be fun. I mean, it really genuinely feels like the original developers of this game put together a really solid, pre-alpha, and once it was handed off to company number 2 to finish it, they just kind of stitched it together half-ass and put that pre-alpha out there and said, have at $50, fuck you, that's why. So it's just 1 chair, son.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the most infuriating thing about this game, because you're going to be playing it and you're going to be like, oh yeah, this is actually kind of cool. It's actually kind of fun. Then something breaks and you're just like, fuck. I mean, if we're taking the game as is, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag does a much better job of being a game about pirates, despite having about half not to do with pirates and have to do with assassinating people. Like Venn said, this game requires a lot of safe scumming, because you will, if you're trying to play this with keyboard and mouse, and they will force you into sword fights, you will get killed to death, because a lot of guys can just kill you in 1 or 2 hits, especially in the early game. And one big thing that really bothered me is that goals are not very clearly marked in the game. The one that comes to mind was the tutorial, because I spent half an hour in there like a fucking idiot trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go, because it says, go to the docks to escape. I go to the docks. I stand on the green X that you're supposed to go to, and nothing happens. I tried to find alternate routes. I tried finding creative ways of killing everyone so that I could get there, because I thought maybe you have to take out all the enemies. No, what you actually have to do is run into a hail of gunfire and dive past them, and then you'll trigger a cutscene. That just does not make any logical sense in my brain. But then again, I'm accustomed to actual logic. There's not a lot of, for an open world game, there's not really a lot of exploring to be done. It'll just sort of take you off into these 1 or 2 odd branching paths. Like I said, the biggest problem with the game is the wasted potential. If you paid attention to this game's history and how it actually came to be, you can understand that this, like Ben said, this was an alpha that got shipped as a final product. It's crap. Don't buy it. 1 chair.
Yeah, I guess we all went into this particular game knowing full well what to expect. I mean, we'd seen Jim Sterling's video on it, or both videos from the original version and the re-release one. But the more I played it, the angrier and more disappointed I became when I started to realize the insane amount of content that was in this game, and I would never be able to experience because it is fundamentally broken. I know, and Chat Realms already went on about it at the start of the review. It's a bit of a faux pas in the world of game reviews to rail on a game for its technical issues, and the whole us describing the our hardware configurations. There was a point to all of that, because the developer has actually gone on record, even on the Steam forum, saying that someone with an Intel processor at 3 gigahertz and a GTX 760, even though the parts are fine by themselves, combined, they suck. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's the gist of what he said. This game, this campy, cheesy, corny, and completely stereotypical pirate story of a game would have at least been a mediocre title. Weren't it for all the game-breaking bugs, shitty sound production, horrible combat, atrocious performance, and the goddamn memory leak. 1 chair.
I got to the very first open area, still in the tutorial, but an open area where you could actually wander around, and I said, oh, cool, I'm going to go exploring. Maybe there's, some stuff I can find, or some hidden content, or... No. 10 minutes later of jumping over rocks and swimming through rivers, I realized that I was in a gigantic arena of nothing. So much wasted potential. I mean, even if they were just doing things like, hiding a chest in there, or some herbs you could pick, or, Jesus, anything other than just a big, empty area with nothing. That being said, the ship-to-ship combat is passable. It's kind of okay. It's a little bit of fun. Other than the fact that your ship just pivots on the main mast, it doesn't sail like a ship at all. You just turn the wheel and your boat goes.
It's kind of like
pivoting.
the cars in GTA 3. They just spin on its axis.
Exactly. The swordplay is, as we've said numerous times, just atrocious. Trying to block is essential and completely impossible at the same time. The part that I did like was the guns. You have separate guns that each need to be reloaded independently, and they both have a separate holster on your back, and there was some good detail that went into that kind of stuff, but it was not enough to save this monstrosity. I must say, though, playing it on the Steam Link on the big TV was probably the best experience you're going to have with this game. And I'm still going to have to give it one chair because I walked away and said, no more. Done.
Yeah, that's one chair for fun. If we tally all this nonsense up, we get one chair for Vendetta, Curse of Raven's Cry. So, gentlemen, final thoughts.
At the end of the day, this game wants to be fun. I mean, you can tell. I mean, from Genesis, this game was genuinely built on the scope of something like a Skyrim, which was totally not made in 2010, but 2011. And I mean, the underpinnings, they're actually there. Good text. I mean, a lot of early work was done on it, and it looks good. Performance is just and it's not a Linux thing. The common theme, and it's like, it needs optimization, and that's code word for it runs like rewarmed ass, man. I mean, it's miserable. And any city environment, closed room environment, like when you first start the game, I was like, oh, well, shit, son, because I was hitting like 60 FERPs. I was like, oh, then you step outside, and it's like, F that.
Fooled you.
And little things. I mean, the sailing, I would give the sailing and ship battles a pass if the sails worked. I can't tell you how many times. I mean, I'll start, and I'm like, okay, and I might have like 2 schooners, you know. It's like, okay, well, I need to slow down and pivot, you know, in this magic moon ship that I have. We'll call it the Yellow Submarine. And I'll unfurl the sails, and this has happened. I've learned how to play around this bug. And because I'll try to launch the sails again, and even the bar will go all the way back up, the sails will remain. I'll just sit there dead in the water. And that is Venn's strategy of like, come, get in range, blam. Hopefully, then it'll kick back in and I can move again. I mean, that will happen 3 out of 4 fucking times when I have an encounter. It's kind of miserable. The biggest disservice, I think, to this game is the way the current developers have handled any type of criticism toward it. There was one pin thing in the forum, and it was like, oh, here's some, you know, ideas, some bugs, and they're doing a little bit better than that, but I mean, there's been multiple threads from the developer, basically, so you're just holding it wrong, it's not the issue, and you've only played 1 hour of the game, and if I wasn't so hellbent, I would have only played 1 hour of the game. I was like, this isn't worth it, but I wanted to give it an absolutely fair shake. And let's just, if I can be honest, Steam refunds, they're a thing. There are a lot of questionable level 0 accounts with positive reviews on the Steam store
and
page.
It's not just that. They actually went out of their way to nuke the previous version from Steam, and with it, all the negative reviews. And if you go to the Steam page for this game, there are currently 80 reviews. How the hell a game like this only has 80 reviews and 73% of them are positive?
Pedro, haven't you looked at Steam Spy, though? I mean, look at the all-time player high for this game is almost 40 people.
Yeah, but 73% positive reviews? No, I'm sorry, but there's scamming, phishing, whatever you want to call it. Something fishy is going on with these reviews.
You can take solace in the fact that this game is ultimately going to be a footnote in the history of Linux games on Steam, because no one's really going to buy it. People are going to look at this and say, I'm not going to pay $50 for a game that I've never heard of.
I mean, ultimately, yeah, you got to look at it. I mean, you look for like the reviews for this game, and the main review is from a site that supposedly teaches you how to get free Steam keys.
Yeah.
Empty?
That's my biggest beef with the game is really, it's literally a re-release of a previous game.
It's a patch.
And it's still completely broken. That just, it is a shameless,
it's a $50 patch.
We do need to point out, they said earlier this week that they were going to release an update. This was the 1 point whatever patch. And, well, sorry, Brad, this week is less than 24 hours away from being over, and we still don't see that major patch.
Yeah, honestly, the biggest problem with this game is the wasted potential, because you can if you're playing it, you can see that there could have been some good stuff in there, and it has these little moments of competence that just get buried under piles and piles and piles of shit.